Discover the advantage of unlimited access to all the stories and resources from IBJ and Inside Indiana Business. From insights to inspiration, business leaders rely on the IBJ for all things Indiana business. Start your $1 a week trial now at ibj.com/trial offer.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the morning of Monday, February 9th, 2026. I'm Alex Brown. Last week's announcement of the launch of Amplify Bloomington was billed as a transformational moment for the region. CEO John Fernandez said on Inside Indiana Business Television that the broader goal is to promote business and talent attraction and growing the city's population.
We've lost a lot of population in that 25 to 50-year-old demographic, and a big part of that is they don't see the economic opportunities. So part of what we're trying to do with this kind of innovation and entrepreneurship-driven strategy is to grow those opportunities so that we can keep talent here. I mean, we have a university cranking out some of the brightest minds anywhere. Let's keep them here.
Part of that effort, Fernandez said, is to boost the Bloomington brand nationally. The Board of Trustees for Purdue Global on Friday announced the appointment of Eva Nodine as the school's new CEO. Nodine has served as the school's chief financial officer and chief operating officer since May 2024 and has been part of the greater Purdue University ecosystem for more than a decade. Indiana Wesleyan University cut the ribbon Friday on its new Center for Faith and Learning. The university said the center aims to serve its faculty and co-curricular educators by cultivating sustained, theologically rich formation through teaching, scholarship, service, and mentoring. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick, coming to you this week from Northwest Indiana, Jeffersonville, Muncie, South Bend, in downtown Evansville, Terre Haute, Fort Wayne, Richmond, from one of the state's key entrepreneurial and innovation hubs, 16 Tech. Inside Indiana Business, Indiana's business news leader.
The University of Notre Dame has renewed its partnership with Chicago-based Levy to continue managing food, beverage, and hospitality operations across its athletic venues, extending a relationship that began in 2016. The renewal follows a competitive request for proposals process and allows Levy to oversee concessions and premium dining at Notre Dame Stadium, Compton Family Ice Arena, and Purcell Pavilion at the Joyce Center. The company will continue managing general concessions and premium seating hospitality with a focus on enhancing the overall guest experience, according to the university. Under the renewed agreement, Levy said it will expand its focus on sourcing food and products from regional vendors, highlighting local businesses while contributing to the regional economy. The prototype of an electric truck that is set to be produced in Indiana was spotlighted last week by one of the biggest car enthusiasts in the country. The Slate truck was featured on Jay Leno's Garage, with the former Tonight Show host taking the truck for a spin.
It's great that as an American company, you haven't given up and just imported something from overseas. You're actually doing it here, and thus making more jobs for Americans, and I think it's great. I think it's something people should get behind.
The truck was designed by Slate Auto, which is in the midst of a nearly $400 million investment to upgrade the former R.R. Donnelley printing plant in Warsaw to build the vehicles. Slate's plans for the Warsaw facility are expected to create about 2,000 jobs, and the company expects to begin production sometime in 2026. Sporting news columnist Mike DeCourcy is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now on the IBJ Media app or your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.
Do you want the real scoop on what's happening in Indiana business? Check out the IBJ podcast. I'm Mason King, and each week I sit down with people who make news in Indiana to get insights and perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. It's business, but you won't need an MBA. The guests run the gamut from CEOs, developers, and sports executives to artists and chefs and financial planners. If there's a theme, it's that everything has a cost. And success often depends on how you define profit and loss. So if you want to deepen your understanding of the people and projects shaping Indiana, give the IBJ podcast a try. You can find it at ibjpodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media Podcast Network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact advertise@ibj.com to learn more.